How do you get around town, Matt?
I usually take the subway or the bus.
Both are very convenient.
Yes, there's a bus stop near my house.
I often ride my bike around town. It's good exercise.
True, but I can read on the bus.
Oh, you can't read and ride a bike.
But sometimes I run late, so I drive or take a taxi.
I don't like taxis. They are very expensive.
Yes, they are, but they are fast.
How often do you take a taxi?
I take a taxi once a month.
Wow, I only take a taxi once a year.
That's good. You save money.
How do you get around town? Some people drive cars. Others take taxis or ride the subway. Still others ride a bike or walk. But many people ride the bus. It is convenient. There are usually many bus stops around a city. People can walk to them. Buses run often, so people don't have to wait very long for a bus. Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Talk in English. My name is Peter and it's so good to see you again.
Hi friends, I'm Pauline and I'm always happy to learn with you. Today we're talking about getting around.
And our title is Ride the Bus. So Pauline, do you live in the city?
Well, yes, I do. We both live in a city, although it's not quite as big as some of the cities I've lived in the past.
So how do you get around in the city?
Well, here I like to bike a lot. Sometimes I take a taxi or a bus, although walking is my favorite.
I do not like taking the bus, but sometimes it is very convenient. I usually take the subway, and I rarely take a taxi.
Well, do you walk to places very often?
Actually, yes, I do. I love walking to places. My legs are really long, so I can get there in no time.
Well, there you go. What about a car? Can you drive a car?
Yes, I can drive a car, but in the city, I do not like driving a car. Mostly because the traffic is terrible and you always have to pay for parking or you can't find parking at all. What about you? Do you like to drive?
I feel the same. I can drive. When I lived in Montana, I owned a car. You have to because it's a small town and there aren't buses and very many taxis. But in the city, I prefer to walk or take the bus or taxis. I don't like to drive in the city.
I like taking my car out of the city. We say, get out of town. Well, friends, let's continue learning together. Let's look at the key words for today. Here's our teacher, Jack.
Hello, Susie 想知道 Matt 平常外出都是使用什么样的交通工具，所以他问 How do you get around town？ 名词 town 就是市区、城镇的意思。Matt 说，如果时间来不及的话，他就会开车。He drives sometimes。动词 drive 就是驾驶。不过为了赶时间，他有时候也会搭计程车 taxi。He takes a taxi too。一般来说，只要时间允许，他还是会选择大众交通工具，地铁或是公车。地铁就是 subway。He usually takes the subway。还有公车就是 bus。He takes the subway or the bus.
How do you get around town, Matt?
I usually take the subway or the bus.
Both are very convenient.
Yes, there's a bus stop near my house.
I often ride my bike around town. It's good exercise.
True, but I can read on the bus.
Oh, you can't read and ride a bike.
So today we can learn a long word you might hear sometimes. Transportation. Transportation is everything we use to get around. It is how we move from one place to another place.
We have many different ways to get around. Maybe we are going somewhere close by, or we might go somewhere far away. We have different options for different ways to get there.
So we talked about this earlier, and we will continue to practice it today. How do you get around, Pauline?
Like I said, I usually get around by biking or walking. How do you get around town, Peter?
I usually take the subway into town, and I often take the bus. Well, what about Jack? How do you get around? Let's hear what he has to say.
今天一开始 Susie 就问 Matt，How do you get around town, Matt？ 这句话的意思是在问 Matt， 生活中不论是工作或是办事，是用什么方式四处走动的呢？换句话说，是在问他主要是搭什么交通工具。再来看一次这个句子 ，How do you get around town, Matt？ 首先，动词 get 有到达某个地方的意思，比如说 How did you get there？ 你是怎么到那里去的呢？然后 get around town，town 指的就是市区或城镇。Get around town 有在当地到处走动的意思。类似的说法，你也可以说 It's easy to get around by scooters， 表示靠着机车到处去都很容易。或者你去巴黎旅游，我跟你说 You can get around Paris by bike， 表示你可以骑自行车在巴黎四处游览。这就是 get around 的用法。
Thanks, Jack. So, Peter, can you tell us the difference between a town and a city?
Okay, sure. Well, when I think of a city, there are many people and the buildings are very tall. A town is smaller than a city. There are less buildings that are really big and the traffic is not so bad.
Right. Although at the same time, we might still use the word town even when we are in the city. I was running all over town today to buy some things.
We also call the center of a city downtown. We go downtown to go to nice restaurants. Maybe our office is downtown.
So whether the town is small or big, or if you live in the city, you need to use transportation. Matt usually takes the subway or the bus.
Okay, so the subway is like a train, and this train goes around the city. You must go to the subway station to get the subway.
When I lived in Taiwan, I loved taking the subway. The subway in Taipei is called the MRT, and it's really convenient. Well, we talked about the bus already. We wait at the bus stop first and then take the bus where we need to go. Buses have different numbers, so make sure you get on the right bus.
When we talk about buses, we use the number of that bus and we add the word the in front. It's the name of the bus. The number 11 bus, the green 6. The 212 comes every 30 minutes.
Both the subway and the bus are convenient. Both are cheap, too. Convenient means it is easy to use and quick. You can say convenient or easy. Both words work here.
There is a bus stop near Matt's house. That's nice. He doesn't need to walk very far. Since it is so convenient, he can use this bus often.
Some buses have a bike rack. You can put your bike on the front of the bus. That way you can take your bike with you. Maybe it's not convenient to walk. This will help then.
Susie often rides her bike into town, and that's good exercise too. Well, friends, we need to take a short break, and then we'll be back for more right after this. See you soon.
Let's talk in English. 10 minutes every day. That's the way.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're getting around town. So when you ride your bike, you really have to be careful, right? When you ride your bike in traffic, it's a little different than being in a car.
Ooh, that is true. You can get hurt more easily, so you need to be very careful. I don't like to drive my bike when there's heavy traffic, when there's lots of cars and motorcycles and everything on the road.
That's right, you can just use bike paths. Well, friends, let's continue. Here's Conversation B.
But sometimes I run late, so I drive or take a taxi.
I don't like taxis. They are very expensive.
Yes, they are, but they are fast.
How often do you take a taxi?
I take a taxi once a month.
Wow. I only take a taxi once a year.
That's good. You save money.
So, Peter, how do you feel when you are late for something?
When I drive the car, I might have bad traffic. I hate being stuck in traffic, especially when I'm late.
The bus might be late, or I might miss one and need to catch another one. This is the worst. I see the bus pulling away as I'm running to the bus stop. Oh, I could have been 10 minutes early, but now I will be 10 minutes late because I missed the bus.
I try to leave early so I don't get worried, but sometimes you can't help it.
So the best thing we can do is maybe tell someone we are running late. I am usually early, but sometimes I run late.
But sometimes I run late, but not today. We are on time for today's calendar phrase.
But sometimes I run late.
But sometimes I run late. 可是有时我迟到了。
You're usually on time for work.
But sometimes I run late.
You're usually on time for meetings.
But sometimes I run late.
You're usually on time for everything.
But sometimes I run late.
But you're always on time for lunch.
Yes, always. Lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
But sometimes I run late.
But sometimes I run late. 可是有时我迟到了。
Well, friends, what about you? Do you sometimes run late? I think we all do. So this is a good sentence to learn about. In fact, let's learn more from Jack. Here he is.
Matt 说，有时候他赶时间快迟到了，就会开车或是搭计程车。他说 ，But sometimes I run late。这里的动词是 run。我们都知道 run 是跑的意思，但是它在这个句子里呢是连缀动词，有变成或呈现某种状态的意思。所以 Matt 说 ，Sometimes I run late。直接翻译的意思就是有时候我晚了。还有，你可能常常听到有人说 "I'm running late"， 其实意思就是我快来不及，赶时间要迟到了。类似的用法像是天气很热的时候 "The water may run dry quickly"， 水可能很快就干了。或者你说 "We are running short of time now"， 我们现在快没时间了。Run short of something 表达某样东西短缺。
Matt is right when he says that he might drive or take a taxi. It can be much faster. When do you take a taxi, Pauline?
Well, I take a taxi if there isn't a bus coming for a long time, or if I don't really know the area, I can't find the bus stop, a taxi is easier.
Yes, sometimes I'm going to a place where the bus doesn't go. Or I will be late and I know the bus is slow, so I will take a taxi. But at the same time, I don't like taxis. They are very expensive, but they are fast.
Friends, when do you take a taxi? Do you have a story you can share? Talk about it with a friend.
Matt takes a taxi once a month. That's not very often, But we often go to Rebecca. I wonder how often she takes a taxi.
Hey friends, you arrived just in time to learn something new and use it. If you want to say that you do something one time a month, you can use today's use it. For example, I watch a movie once a month, or I have dinner with my friend once a month. Got it? Then go ahead and use it.
Thanks, Rebecca. Let's make a few more sentences together. I take the bus twice a day. I eat 3 times a day.
I visit my friend once a week. I read my emails twice a day. And our friends practice English once a day. They are very good.
Well, Susie never takes a taxi.
Yes, she does. She only takes a taxi once a year.
In English, we mean almost the same thing. Sometimes we say never just to mean this person doesn't do something often at all.
You save money by not taking a taxi, but you save even more money if you don't own a car at all.
I agree. I'm glad I don't own a car now.
So you can take a taxi and not worry about the cost. Well, friends, now it's time to review. Let's look at the keywords from today.
Here's your first keyword for today. Town. Town. George lives in a small town.
Drive. Drive. People often drive a car to work.
Taxi. Taxi. There are many taxis on the road.
Subway. Subway. Ted rides the subway to work.
Bus. Bus. Many students ride the bus to school. All right, friends, those are your keywords for today. Keep on practicing. And now let's review our lesson one more time together.
How do you get around town, Matt?
I usually take the subway or the bus.
Both are very convenient.
Yes, there's a bus stop near my house.
I often ride my bike around town. It's good exercise.
True, but I can read on the bus.
Oh, you can't read and ride a bike.
But sometimes I run late, so I drive or take a taxi.
I don't like taxis. They are very expensive.
Yes, they are, but they are fast.
How often do you take a taxi?
I take a taxi once a month.
Wow, I only take a taxi once a year.
That's good. You save money.
Hey, Ginger, let's go to the new park and play.
All right, let's go. But how will we get there?
Driving is a good way to get around. Vroom, vroom.
Yeah, but you don't have a car.
We can take a taxi.
Yeah, but that's expensive.
Well, the subway doesn't go to the park, so...
So, let's ride our bikes? Or maybe walk?
No, that takes too long.
Oh, I know. Let's take the bus.
The bus! That's a great idea. There's a bus stop right nearby.
Right. We can easily walk to the bus stop. And the buses run often.
So, what are we waiting for?
The bus? Get it? Waiting for the bus?
Very funny, Ginger.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, friends, today's Monday, so let's answer some questions. Here's number 1. How does Matt usually get around town? How does Matt usually get around town?
You can find the answer in conversation A. He usually takes the bus. Question 2. How do you get around town? How do you get around town? Let's hear some answers from some of our friends.
How do I get around town? I get around town in many different ways. On work days, I usually drive to work, but I can also take the bus or the subway, or if I wake up really early, I can bike to work. Get some exercise in too. On the weekends, I normally just walk around town.
How do I get around town? Well, I like to swing from tree to tree. It's a lot of fun. Oh, but sometimes there's not enough trees, so I have to take the monkey bus. It's a lot of fun too, but sometimes I have to wait. If I'm in a hurry, I take a taxi, but taxis are too expensive. I'd rather spend money on bananas.
How do I get around town? Well, it depends on the day and how quickly I want to get there. I like walking around town, but sometimes it's too far away, so I'll take the bus or ride my bike. And sometimes I get a ride with friends. I don't own my own car though, so I can't drive myself.
Hey, how do you get around town?
How do I get around town? Well, I like to take the bus or the subway because it's fast and it's cheap. Or if the place I want to get to is close by, then I like to walk. Or I like to ride a bike because that is healthy and I can get exercise.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, friends, thanks for joining us today, and make sure to take the bus, the subway, or taxi to practice your English. And we'll see you again right here on
Let's Talk in English. Goodbye.